all different. Sophia, we miss you. We wish you were here. Your friends, however, told me I shouldn't record and just leave you confused. So, yes. Sammy. All right, so yesterday, you guys complained that when we looked at this and we went and broke this up, you guys were like, well, it's gonna be equilateral. And I was like, well, okay, sure, fine, but I didn't say yes at the beginning because that's not how it always works, and I don't want you to fall into the trap of thinking that's how it does work. So we're going to jump over problem 34, and go right into 35. That's still a pen. So you have here different polygons that we are going to find the area of. What gon is A? 9, right? 9 gon. B, 10 gon.
Where's the 10 gon?
10 is 10. No, not 10 is 14.
So I was right.
And a 6 gon.
A piece of chocolate. I need 20 pieces of chocolate.
You can have all of them. You know there's cupcakes right there.
I know, but I'm going to try not to.
Oh, by the way, this chair is not comfortable. I decided to keep you over here if you want to swap out. It is definitely a more comfortable chair, but it goes back there at least for AL and stuff. Yeah, I want to help you guys. I want to set the timer for 5 minutes and not say anything unless you guys tell me you're done.
Wait, where's the 6 gon? The 6 gon's number 5, right?
I'll be allowed to collaborate. Everyone. Make triangles. We'll make triangles. I'm gonna make them all be the same so it's easier to just so each side of the triangle.
Well, we know the angles at least.
Yeah. Do you remember what?
180 parentheses n minus 2.
That's for the total.
Do not run with that computer, sir.
You can always make a bunch of triangles. There's never a situation. Unless it's a triangle. You can always make triangles out of triangles. Everything. You can draw it's hard to make triangles.
Make a triangle out of a triangle.
You can cut it. Yes, you can. It's not 2 triangles.
Well, from an opposite angle you can.
No, but you can still make triangles.
Interior angle.
You can't make triangles out of circles. Alright, so what's those things are the same.
My advice is for each of these, so I wanted you guys to get to a point where my advice might matter. Draw a triangle to represent the triangle that you're dealing with. So like this would have a base of 4. This would have a height of 5. And this would have an edge length of 11. Now, where we were yesterday, you guys were able to tell me these interior angle measures and then derive these angle measures knowing that this will be isosceles, so that would really also be 11.
Okay, so we have to find the top angle first.
The top angle is for the first
It's
one.
360 divided by the side, so 360, yeah, it would be.
Wait, so 360
So for the
divided by 9.
first one, the top is 40,
Yeah.
and then the
Would it
little
be-
other sides are 70.
Yeah. So because you have to add up to. What?
180.
Oh, hey!
What's that?
Never mind.
Wait, how did you
I
guys-
wasn't.
Don't watch the
She
video.
was here the entire time.
Because in the video I tell you that your friends wanted me not to record and just leave you confused.
Sophia
Too
sent
bad for you.
Sophia sent a disturbance, so I was like, nah, I'm not gonna skip that class.
Something bad's gonna happen.
Where did you go?
Oh, I'm guessing you went to the orthodontist because you have
You
the
got
weird.
You got your braces off?
It
So, I'm trying not to talk about the problem for at least that long. They're trying to solve the area of all three of those n-gons. Well, actually, we already talked about what gon they are. So we have a 9-gon, a 10-gon, and a 6-gon. And we have that information. And especially because y'all were complainers yesterday, these are not equilateral triangles. They are isosceles, but the triangles that we create are not equilateral. Well, I don't know. Maybe the 6-gon. Maybe.
We have to use like Socotoa for this one.
Yeah. I should probably get my calculator.
I was about to say 15, but it's on.
Ooh, so now we're using trig.
Yes.
Mmm.
I got into an argument with this kid yesterday about trig, and the sub had to break up the fight.
Who's the kid?
Yeah, I was like, you can't do that with trig. I forget what I was arguing with him about.
Alright, so the height of the first one is 10.34.
What the heck? No, the height is 5.
10.3.
No, the first one.
Oh,
A? Yeah.
Why do we need to know that?
So we can find the area.
Oh, sorry. I thought. Never mind.
Just put 10.3.
Yeah, and then we use that to find the. Okay, sine of 70 equals x over 11 because it's the height over the opposite.
So I'm pretty sure. Wait, what are we trying to write now? The area, right?
What you got for the bottom?
I don't know, I'm doing
Let's do 10.3 times.
Still fighting that cold, that's for sure.
You're sick.
I've been sick. I feel better today than I have the whole week, but
That's nice.
at least we have a long weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're all here, there's a chance that I will be out on Tuesday. I need to take my dog for a follow-up for his surgery that he had. So I won't be out the whole day. I just have to like run out, take him there, come back, and then get back to school. But I got to talk with my team at Hall. That's going to work. What might happen is you guys are just like in the library or wherever else with a different teacher just going through 831 on your own. I think you'll find it easy. It has to do with the relationship between similar figures and the area relationships versus the perimeter relationships. We're probably potentially going to start that today, but us not having math tomorrow and next week, me having to move my vet appointment to next week, it just all got a little screwy. So, all of that, you're fine. All of that to say, like, stay tuned. I'll try to tell at least one of you tomorrow what the plan is, or just ask one of your 8th grade teachers, okay, on Tuesday. Okay.
What you
I mean,
got?
I'll be here Tuesday morning, so you could even come and see me Tuesday
So
morning.
the width of half of it is 3.76, but like the whole triangle's width is 7.52.
So,
Did you figure that
Liang,
out?
talk me through what you guys are doing.
Okay, cool. Then I will.
Okay, what you got?
Liang, talk me through what you guys are doing.
So it's not an equal. So first we had to find the height of the triangle. Okay, so we knew the top angle was 40 and the other ones were 70.
So we found out 40
Then
by 360 divided by 9. Okay, sweet. So then, what'd you do to find out the height?
okay, basically like 180 minus 40 is divided by 2. So because that'd be 140 divided by 2.
Okay,
Area of
so 70,
What you got?
90.
So I got the area of this triangle here, right?
What's this
That's the
angle?
area, 7.5.
20.
I just used
Yeah, be
7.5.
careful with
I didn't
using
use
it.
the 2.
So then you trig a little bit,
You're wrong then. Because
and you find out that your height is.
10.35.
Do we all agree that the height of the triangle is 10.35? 34.
Oh my gosh, what? Now I have to change my.
So then we did a little trig. What I'm trying to like kind of reference is do a little jig, right? And do a little trig.
Did
A jig is a dance. So you can trig to find out this, right? The base part of your triangle, and then we can double it to find the whole base.
Which is 7.50. Okay, cool, I'm right.
Now there are two ways to do this. You don't have to double that. You don't have to get to 7.52.
I didn't do that.
Because if you didn't,
Oh, snap.
you'd only find one of these.
Okay, yeah, well then you can figure out.
And
the
how
area
many of
that
those would
triangle
we
and
have?
Multiply by 8.
18, right? Instead of 9.
Yeah. Oh well,
I don't
it
think I
doesn't
did
really
this.
matter.
It doesn't matter. It's the same either way.
Which and multiply that by 699. Shoot, am I?
Okay, so height times same.
No.
Wait, I think.
Yeah, remember, area still has to divide by 2 because it's a triangle.
Divide by 2 times 18.
Okay.
So
No, why 18? So.
Isn't it 18 triangles? Yeah.
Oh,
there are
no, yeah,
18
18 small
triangles.
triangles.
It depends which math you use. Now check this out.
So wait, what did
I
you
am
get?
right.
Hold up.
What'd you get?
Hold up. Hey, I want to show you a shortcut.
That's not right.
That's not right.
Hey, I want to show you a shortcut.
Because I got what you got, and then
Okay.
I realized I did it wrong.
Okay.
So then I knew you did it, and I
What'd you
think
get, Sammy?
Well, I'll wait till V to show you the shortcut,
I think
actually.
you did what
It
I
doesn't
did
work very well
wrong,
on
and
the
then
Okay.
I
What'd you
fixed
get,
it.
Sammy?
349.9. Oh, 91.
Yes.
Yes?
And then
Okay, give it
Oh,
again.
I'm supposed to be multiplying by. Okay.
349.91.
Multiplied by the odd number.
Yeah.
So like centimeters is just 0.91.
We don't have units, so it's units squared.
Do we always have to put the use?
Yeah, I
Yep.
got.
Especially if it's area, because you have to reference that it is something squared.
Yeah, no.
Never leave a number without a label, because it isn't worth anything then. Like when you come back to it later, you're like, crap, what was I doing? Always label it.
Wait.
Now, here's another trick, and it works for even gons. Give me your eyes for a second. I know you're already working ahead of this. Even gons. 4 gon, 6 gon, 8 gon, even gons.
I was just.
So you guys yesterday brought up the fact that we could actually make parallelograms. Or rhombuses is what you said yesterday, but parallelogram is really what you mean in the grand scheme of things. This triangle uses half in its formula. Or even if I use the half triangle, it uses half in the formula. So if I want to type less in my calculator, don't use the half in that formula. But instead of using 10, use 5. Because we could visualize parallelograms in here. I'm going to show the work to support what I'm doing and put triangles together. So really, instead of thinking about 10 triangles, do 5 rectangles, or 5 parallelograms, really. So what that turns into, I don't know why my screen keeps doing that today, is, did you guys find your base values here?
Oh, no, we haven't really went.
All right, we'll keep going.
So you want us to get the base value?
Yeah, go ahead. I kind of thought you guys would be further ahead, but that is totally fine.
We don't work that fast.
Well, it shows how highly I think of you.
Wow, how nice. Oh,
So we only have the height, nothing else. So we know that,
oh,
top
we have the angle.
Right,
Top is-
36. It'd be 36.
Which angle?
The top, yeah, because it's 36.
So guys,
Oh, yeah.
this is one of those situations where the things we're drawing aren't the size they are, right? Like, these triangles are very similar to each other, and they're not actually, because one comes from a pentagon and one comes from a hexagon,
So,
These angles
right? So
are big.
please do not care about what things look like. Care about what we know the math to be.
So it should be 36, 72, 72, right?
yes.
Okay, cool. And then you have to trig, right?
And then we could do the trig fun stuff. We only need the base. We don't need the atoms.
So
So
we
let's
can do the sine, the tangent of 72. 72 degrees.
The other trapdoor you might fall in, your peak angle, or your center angle is actually what we call it, but it's the peak of the triangle if you actually give it like an up-down. Don't fall in the trap of using 36. You can use 36 to get your base angles down here, but when we go to do the trig, we're not using 36. We'd be using one of these angles or 18. Because you use the right triangle, not the isosceles triangle. So use 36, 1 minus 36 is 144, 72.
Yeah.
I said that, yeah.
When you did a little trig
Did a little trig.
We had 1.62.
for half the base or 1.6,
Whoa.
this is one of those situations where try to keep numbers rolling in your calculator. Sorry, somebody verify. Was that for this or was that for the whole
It
thing?
was for the small one.
For the small part?
Wait,
That makes sense, because if you double it, it's 3 points.
Is that what you, are we good now, Athena, or no?
So the big part is 3.25.
so we can do one. Oh, we have to find that.
But can I? So what I did, like I still got. Hate talking with this. I still got 72 in the bottom corner.
Mhm.
But wouldn't it be easier just to do like figure out the total angles and then divide it by how many vertices you want?
Whatever you think is easier.
Okay. Because I just thought it'd be easier than like finding out multiple angles.
The other thing we can do is if you find your 36 and you find your 18, it's just the complement, right? So you can just think complementary angles. That's actually how my brain ended up doing polygons like this, is like find the
Oh my gosh,
complements.
I got that.
It's seriously whatever your preference.
Right.
It's one of those math counts answers. Whatever works faster for you and gets an accurate answer.
Then use squared to look at
That's nice.
Here's what I meant by that whole shortcut. So this,
3.25.
What did you get?
That's what I got, but I didn't get the weird decimal because I used the rounded one.
Oh, that's what I did.
So I should actually use the rounded one.
Wait a minute.
one way,
That's weird.
divide by 2, then multiply by 10,
Yeah.
right?
I did that.
Or, because we're smart, just multiply by 5. Take the amount of triangles you have, do the division by 2 that would have happened in the triangle area formula. Because remember, multiplication is commutative. We're not actually breaking any rules or doing anything special. We're just applying the commutative property. So base times height times half your n gone, right? Because n is 10. So we should get something close to like 75, I think.
I got 80.
Close to-
81.2.
Yeah, 80.
81.2.
Oh, that's nice.
What is it? 80,
81.23.
That's a weird rounding.
23, 25. As long as you're close to that, units squared. Units squared.
You said about 70.
Our last one here, what did we see about hexagons yesterday? They're equilateral, right? Because this is 60, then this is 60. But the issue, the kind of trap door sort of thing here, is when we split it, this turns into 30.
It's a 30, 60, 90.
But this is 2 and 2.
So it's 2 times the square root of 2 is the height.
Do we use radical 2 or radical 3 here?
Radical 3. Radical, yes. Yeah. Because radical 2 is 30.
When do we use radical 2?
When it's nice.
When it's the two angles equal. Right? These are all factors of 3. 30, 60, 90, all factors of 3. Try to remember radical 3 as all factors of 3. Which actually, it's better to write the 2 out here. Sorry, that multiplication symbol doesn't really belong. Wait, that doesn't matter. Wait, is it the height that's 2 radical 3 or the hypotenuse?
It's the outside is double.
And the height is
So
double.
that'd be 4 where you put the 2 out.
No, the height.
No, the hypotenuse is
The height. Wait.
Hypotenuse is
The height is the height double.
Look, because
No, because like
Okay, the hypotenuse is
because that's
double.
half the triangle.
If the hypotenuse is double, then the hypotenuse is.
Which is bigger, 4 or radical 3 times 2?
4.
You tell me, what's radical 3?
It's less than one.
Radical 3 is like
Less than
1 point, 4, 1.5, right? Something like that.
It is.
Yeah.
So hypotenuse.
So 1.5 times 2, or 2 times 2. Because the double is the hypotenuse. The double is the hypotenuse. The height is the 2 radical. Crap. 3. It's 3, not 2. This is what you guys, a lot of you wrote on your test that I gave you back yesterday, was using radical 2 instead of using radical 3. Or multiplying instead of dividing, or applying the rule the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So,
I messed up because
hey,
of the 60.
and here's the reason I'm going to be annoying with you about that. Those are going to be on the Ohio State tests. Those are going to be on, crap. This is going to be great, and then I tripped on my words. They're going to be on the ACT, and they're going to be on the SAT, and they're going to help you
in any math course from now to not have to type things in your calculator. You just know it. And you know how much better people like you when you're in their group and you're like, yeah, that's radical 3 times 2 because special right triangles. And they're like, oh yeah, they learned that. I'm not sure about that rule, but they learned it. Like they're my part. I want that person as my partner because they know those rules.
So,
Look, man, I was just on the phone with my sister last night who's in her master's program and annoyed at a partner she has to work with in a group project. Group projects don't go away because the world wants to make sure you can work with people.
But can't you just
Sorry,
tell the
Sandy.
professor, like, bro, my partner?
No, you can't. She did. She went and said, hey, my partner and I aren't getting along. We aren't seeing eye to eye. And he's like, figure it out.
No, but what if you? But that's okay. But what I'm understanding from that is that they have like they're not agreeing with each other. But like what I was talking about more like your partner just doesn't do the work. Like
Yeah, that sometimes happens too.
They can't you tell the professor like my grade's gonna.
Your professor would say, well,
you
make
need to
them
do the one
like your
half of being
partners.
a.
Like, don't do it for them. We're going to stop what ifing because we have a lot of math. What's the area
I
rhythm?
would legit do the work for them.
What is
I would
it?
get fed up.
20.78 units squared.
Do we agree?
I would get.
Hey, if you clear, you can always second entry and get it back. Questions? Is that correct? I mean, check it in your calculator.
I mean, that's what I got.
So, to give you perspective, she is in her master's in an art program. Well, not necessarily art, but like design and fashion and things like that. She will essentially probably end up making either advertisements or like the displays in stores. So, you know, like every express store all over America is going to have the same display and things are going to be in just the right spot. Somebody has to decide that. So she's in a program about like, you know, aesthetics and visual appeal and all those different things. So it's like you have to work with multiple people out in the real world. And sometimes your coworkers don't do the work they're supposed to do.
Ugh.
What if I
How
become
to
an
get there?
express writer and live like on my own, way out in the middle of nowhere?
Like on a cliff, on a coast,
Yeah.
in a lighthouse. And yeah, that'd be sweet. All right, so let me double check our answers just because, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't know that we were right. Oh, so now Beth is going to make a new flower bed, which actually I cannot wait for the next gardening season, this gardening season to roll around and get some stuff in the ground. Hey, David, I dislike your negative attitude.
No, not because they're not pretty. Not because they're not pretty. More like just because.
You don't do anything. Why would you hate it?
No. Okay, so like when I step. Stop.
You step in fertilizer.
No, I want to justify myself.
So we got. Wait a minute.
Oh, why?
Hold on, I'm a little concerned
Such
here.
a big reason.
This is not correct.
Oh, snap.
So is it 31 point?
Yeah, it is.
I believe you.
Guys, Athena strikes again.
Wait,
Athena's just flexing.
what is it? You
Athena,
guys
like,
divided one too many.
You divided by 2 one too many times or forgot to multiply by 2. This is half the
What
area.
is the actual
It's
answer?
double. It's
41.56.
yeah, 41 point like about 6 approximately.
I thought you said 31 and I was like, how is that double?
What do you mean? How is that double?
I thought you said 31.6
No.
and I was confused about how it was double.
So we would have had as our calculation 4 times 2 radical 3
We believe you.
either divided by 2 times 6 or just times 3. So 4 times 2 radical 3 is really, well, you can't, yeah. Then when you do it in your calculator, either multiply by 3 or divide by 2 to multiply by 6, but that's the same thing.
I only put regular.
Oh, you forgot the 2 in front of the
Yeah.
radical 3? Ah, that would do it too. Because that's taking away one doubling factor, right? All right, any other issues with why we got that wrong? I thought that smelled wrong.
Wait, so I have a.
Yeah, sometimes things just don't smell right. You're like, no, I'm not going to drink this milk.
Well, that makes sense, but like spelling like, man.
I just.
Hey, real life, no joke. This is the type of stuff that we use this math for. So let's say you get a job at a golf course, which seriously, one of our Phoenix alumni is a grounds person at a golf course. You have to get like a degree for this because there's a lot of science and like how do you make grass grow the right way? How do you make sure things are going to work? So fertilizer is a big part of that. But fertilizer is expensive. So one bag of fertilizer, you can fertilize 150 square feet, which I mean, if you think is like 15 times 10, that's kind of big, but that's probably like from me to the edge of the room, like to where the wall would be, maybe that much space, right? Like not like a ton of space. So that's like 150 square feet. 150 sounds big, but when we're talking square feet, it's not really that big. So what we're making is a pentagon. If you want to imagine, you can even think that we're at like a putt-putt golf course or whatever. So this pentagon is going to be our warm-up putting area, which actually a lot of golf courses have. You would have holes spread out around here, but the grass has to be perfect. Really, like, no joke, it's the putting green. Yeah, it's golf. People care way too much about these things, hence why disc golf, not ball golf. How much area is in this pentagonal space? Go.
Okay. I can use my.
And really, how many bags of fertilizer do we need? But we'll get to that.
Ooh, there's multiple pentagons. Which one should I use?
The biggest one.
There's poly pentagons.
Ha.
I don't get it. Why is that
So funny. Poly means many, and he said there's poly.
Oh.
And yeah, we're dealing with.
Enough.
It was bad. I got an answer.
Already?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give like. You can help your teammates or here.
How did you do
Throw on
it
the
so
board.
quickly?
Here, throw on the board.
I'm on.
Nope. Your teacher now.
Yes.
Alright. You magical.
Nobody
I mean-
already.
Stop. That's what keeps happening. My board keeps thinking that I'm still touching it. Seriously, I think that's what's happening. Like it's getting the oil off my skin or something.
I'm like mostly confident, but not 100% completely confident. So I
You
mean,
can tell Sophia's starting to be a pro because she just quickly goes through, pick the color, pick the size.
She's turned it into
it's so thick. Wow. Okay.
I'm just gonna try and do it before she does it.
You know that's 540 total, and so when you split it up, this angle's 54.
Wait.
Can you
Okay.
Why?
So,
what?
because you,
Write it.
it's 5. Okay.
I know what you're saying, but you
I
immediately
get
gotta wait why.
540 total angles. Each of those.
What angles?
Wait, what is that weird number down there?
Okay, let me talk. Okay. 540 total angles. Each of them is that divided by 5.
5, 4.
Yeah. So, okay.
Can I write out what you're saying?
Yes.
Keep saying it.
Okay. So you know that
So
each
all
of the
those
angles
angles
is 540 divided by 5.
Okay.
And we just want to know what this little section is, which is half of those, since we know it's a bisector. So it'd be 540 divided by 5 divided by 10 divided by 2, which is just 540 divided by 10, which is 54.
Okay, I get
So
it.
we know that that's 54, and if we do
With half of that blue angle is 54.
The blue angles together, 540. A red angle, we would divide by 5.
No, I think.
The green angle, which is what she's writing, the thing you have here. This, there's 10 of those. Because 5 times 2, right? There's 2 at each vertex. That's why Sophia did what she did. And that's why she's going so fast, too. Like,
Yeah.
why she got an answer, and you guys were like, already?
yeah, and then you just do tangent, and then the area of that, and then
No, I got the. I did that wrong. I solved for the hypotenuse, not the other.
So when you said and then you just do, that's what you could write out on the screen.
And then
okay,
you just
yeah.
do.
And then so
did that
I need to see my numbers.
So this is 54.
Now I'm not gonna ask for like show of hands, but I will ask the question rhetorically. Is anyone else feeling like powerful that now with any regular polygon, given one piece of information, just one, you can solve everything?
Wait, so
Kind of.
does that mean that all those triangles are isosceles?
Yeah.
On a regular polygon, the interior triangles will always be isosceles. on a regular polygon. In case you didn't hear it the first 2 times, only for regular polygons.
But how'd you
So
still do it so fast?
Yeah, okay, so
Sophia is Sophia.
yeah, and so you just keep that number in the calculator and don't round because that'll make things awkward. And then if you just keep that and then times.
Okay, I got the answer.
Look, I'm going to give you the 1-word answer to how Sophia does this so fast.
Practice. Do it.
Practice. The more you do it, the easier it is. Guys, there's like a point when your brain learns processes, and tangent is a nice, like, I can see very quickly what I have to do because it's an angle and an opposite over an adjacent. It doesn't use the hypotenuse. I throw the, like, your brain just gets to a point. Yeah, no, I sound like a band teacher, right? Your brain gets to a point where you just know what to do. She puts the adjacent over in front of the tangent because she remembers I can do that. Adjacent tangent of angle equals opposite.
Me too.
Just write it down. I actually did it.
I
didn't do
Sophia
the bags
completely.
part because I forgot how much.
Or if you're a cheapskate, you buy 2 bags and try to spread it a little thinner. But
Or you
really,
try and find it.
Or
you
you
should
get
probably
back and you spread it
spread it
even
a little thicker because the company's probably lying to you and it probably doesn't actually cover that much.
Sophia.
Does this make sense?
Guys, if Sophia was still getting her retainer, we'd still be stuck on this question.
No, I got
Yeah,
it.
Athena here.
I got it like after he wrote all his stuff down. So I feel accomplished. I just wouldn't have gotten it.
I have like a faint memory of doing this in like 5th grade, so.
Wait
So
a minute.
now,
Wait a minute.
so now, Sophia and Athena cannot talk to each other or you.
I never talked in the first place.
Hey, here's our probably going to be final problem of the day. The rowdy rodents would like to make a stained glass window for their student comments. So, yes, of course, I'm manipulating this to make it work with us. So, they know that from the center of the window out to one of the corners, the vertices, of their octagonal commons room window is 2 feet. Pretty big window. They know that stained glass will cost them $48.99 for the trim work. Trim work goes around the window.
Yeah.
Trim work goes around the window. So, 2 questions. A, what's the area of the window?
Wait, okay.
B, what's the perimeter? Right? Because then we'll figure out how much the trim work costs. So actually, to trim stained glass, you normally have to route the middle of the wood and set it in, like the glass sets into the wood.
I can do this.
Rowdy rodents, such a weird school name.
I think CPM just ran out of ideas.
I don't want to use angle measures.
There was an old Ottermine professor who would make stained glass by hand by breaking glass and then laying it out and then picking it all back up and like doing it into concrete.
I feel like that could be fun, but also painful.
So he would lay out the images and then he'd put another frame next to it and he'd like pour concrete into it or whatever and then like transfer. Let me see if I can find an image of that house. He literally stained glassed the whole house.
Oh wait, I don't. No, it's really small numbers. So it is a really small number.
Yeah, it's like 1.84.
Something wrong. 1.85. Because they're all height. Oh, I wasn't doing the height. So.
I must have done something wrong. I know this ain't right.
Man, I'm waiting for them to update the street view. So you can kind of see it. This is all stained glass. the whole front of this house. This is in Westerville. So a professor from Otterbein bought this house and redid the whole front of it in stained glass. And actually, from the inside, you can't tell from out here, but this is these are famous artworks. So this is crap. It's I want to say it's Starry Night. Like it's a his own manipulation of Star. I'll try to find pictures from the inside. This was actually our fraternity house, the off-campus fraternity house, hence the caution tape, whatever. And then this was like a starburst, just like sun. But man, when the sun would rise, it was just gorgeous. And the front yard, see this space? This is a fallout shelter. From the basement of the house, you would go down 8 more stairs with a steel door. And they seriously, some houses that are old had these shelters for when they would do bombing raids back when like the war was going on. You'd go into your fallout shelter, so if bombs landed close by, and even if your house fell down, you'd be safe. So there's a tunnel, like a ladder tunnel, to get up into the front yard. So if your whole house collapses, you can still climb out. That's math for you right there.
Okay, I got 2. Well, that's because I was looking at the cool thing and you were just doing
It's really
that.
sweet.
Wait, I'm close to the answer, but this calculator doesn't have a thing. Oh, yeah, but
That's not even mine. Somebody left it in here.
Yeah, why are you doing that one?
it was on my table already, so I was like, you know what?
Wait, did I do this one? I think I did this one. Okay. Where's this one?
This is definitely what X is. I'm in radians.
Wait.
No, I'm in degrees. And yet I cannot find the answer. Or am I just... No, I'm right. I have to double it.
Wait.
Or do I?
If it's on the bottom, wait.
I mean, we're all waiting.
I don't know.
You keep saying
I
wait.
got what you got. Because I was like,
I forgot to double it once.
I lost my pen. Oh, Sophia left it. All good.
My triangle's slightly off. What do we think? 360 divided by 8, we get to that center angle is...
Oh, no, this is no.
I had too many problems on here, so I accidentally used I wrote it down, then used a different one, and then it didn't work out well.
So then this becomes 22.5. So actually, if I pull that triangle out, it's easier to just look at the right triangle that I'm dealing with. Right? Instead of actually like drawing the entire isosceles, just draw the right triangle. So, David Sammy Orlean, what is the base angle down here?
67.5?
67.
I did that right. Holy crap.
This is 2, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
The base should be like 0.765. Did you get that?
Yeah.
0.765.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm in the middle doing a Pythagorean theorem.
So then, over here, the base would be...
I did this stuff.
That would be
1.5307.
So for perimeter, we can just multiply that by 8, right? Verification?
Yeah, that's all I got.
I like Sophia's still not talking. An area, we would take this. Ah, crap, we need the height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you needed to come back over here.
I got mixed up on.
This is...
Okay,
We can go to lunch when we finish this problem.
1.85.
Thank you,
Yes,
Keelan.
1.85.
It's a little yes for me. So then 1.85. And if I don't divide by 2, what am I going to multiply by? 4.
Which is
Half the number of triangles we have. What is it?
11.3.
I got 11.3.
I got 11.3.
It's just because some of us rounded the decimals differently.
3-1, 3-2, 3-3, something close to there. And then we could use that to compute the cost. I guarantee you guys could. So we're done. Have a wonderful day.
Do you want me to just leave these out on the desk because I don't know what to do with them?
I'll put them away, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Wait, what?
Just leave them on the desk, the shapes templates.
Leave this here because I don't know who.
I can't.